Get a good game as well. There will be plenty more talk about that, I'm sure. We should talk actually a little more about the situation at Leeds United. Last week, Neil Warnock effectively confirmed he won't be at Elland Road next season. During the week, the current owners of the club, GFH Capital, had to deny the statement from its parent company, Gulf Finance House, that there's a plan to sell the entire club. Still following me? It's all a bit messy, isn't it? Well, a little earlier I spoke via Skype from South Africa with the journalist Duncan Castles, who writes for the Abu Dhabi-based paper The National and has written extensively on Leeds United. I started by asking him whose versions of events we should believe.
Yeah, it's a bizarre situation, really. On Tuesday, we had the parent company saying we want to sell everything. And the next day, GFH Capital telling Leeds fans on the website that they only wanted to sell a part of their stake. But it's actually very simple here. If a company like Gulf Finance House, which is registered on, I think, 4 different stock markets, puts in its annual report that they want to sell its stake, not part of the stake, its stake, in Leeds United Football Club, and they're already in active negotiations to sell it, then they're legally responsible for what they've said there. And if that proves to be incorrect, which is what GFH Capital appear to be claiming about their parent company, then Gulf Finance House are legally obliged to correct what they put in their annual statement. And it's not just a small part of their annual statement; it's a very important part. They've already banked $10 million profit on the future sale of Leeds United, to produce a $10 million. Or roughly $10 million total profit on their accounts. So this is very fundamental to what they've told the stock market their current financial position is.
Some reports too of a bid involving Steve Parkin and a group of investors. What's your understanding of that story?
Yeah, Steve Parkin is actively involved in negotiations with GFH to buy Leeds United. He will be the lead bidder. And then there is a rich Saudi businessman who will come in if that deal is agreed and provide capital and ultimately become the majority shareholder in Leeds United. And that's ongoing at present.
It's ongoing. The question Leeds United fans will want to know is trying to gauge an idea of time scale here, because fans don't want this dragging on.
It's very difficult. And ultimately, until GFH sign off on a deal, then GFH remain owners of Leeds United Football Club. They have to make the final decision. They've made it quite clear that what they're interested in is profiting from this purchase. That's said in their accounts. So it's quite possible that they will try and get another bidder involved. In fact, I know that they've offered a stake in the club to an alternative bidder who's turned it down in recent weeks. So, Parkin is in pole position, but there's no way I can guarantee that Parkin will gain control of the club, because ultimately it's GFH's decision who they sell to. But what we do know is they intend to sell the club.
And as a final point, looking in from afar with the knowledge you have, do you think this situation could be quite unhealthy for Leeds United? Neil Warnock, a manager who doesn't really want to be there, he's going to go. They can't get a new manager in until they sort this stuff out.
Situation has been very unhealthy for Leeds United. You're basically looking at a season wasted while this long-going takeover resolved itself. And then we discover that as soon as they take over the club, they're intending to sell it to someone else. There was no net spend on transfers or on new players in January, although a big spend was promised. And promotion became an impossibility. If one of the other bidders had come in for the club, an American Preston Haskell, who got very close to buying it, he would have spent an immediate £10 million on improving the squad in January. And Leeds United might well have been looking at promotion to the Premier League this season. The way it is at the moment, they have to wait till next year. And they have to wait and see who will be in charge of the club and whether that individual is going to be able to fund promotion to the Premier League.
OK, I appreciate your time. Thanks for talking to us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Richard, you've got the owners saying one thing, you've got the parent company saying another, you've got a manager in charge of a team that he doesn't want to be in charge of at the moment, and you've got players still harbouring outside hopes of being promoted via the playoffs to the Premier League. It's a right mess.
Mess is exactly what it is. It's been a wasted year once again. Hopefully something can move forward now. It's my understanding it's 51% is what this deal that's being discussed at the moment, which, you know, I'd rather somebody came in and actually bought it 100%, whether that's Steve Parkin, whether it's another investor, because what you don't want is somebody having 49%, because obviously they're going to try and then sell that. If the club gets into the Premier League, they'll get a much higher return for that, but it just brings more uncertainty. I want something definite for happening at Leeds, because it's just gone on for too long now. It's been 2 years wasted, really. When the Leeds came out of League One, I thought they had a real momentum behind them, and they looked like they were going places. That's just just fizzled away, and it's like it's just becoming another forgotten season.
The uncertainty, John Hendrie, cannot help matters on the field, regardless of what we're told.
Absolutely. I mean, the players, they'll realise, they read the papers as well, they see what goes on in the telly as well. But they've got to be focused on their own positions as such. But some players out of contract this summer, but they can't. They use excuses. You give the players, give them an inch, they'll take a mile. And that's the thing about footballers. You can never give them excuses for performances on the pitch.
But often, Richard, when there's this uncertainty that the players have no control over upstairs, they will, as John says, come together. But when you've got a manager in charge of you who isn't going to be there that much longer, that's incredibly difficult to do.
It's just the whole place is in limbo. You know, it's not going forward, it's not going backwards. You know, obviously there's a new manager going to be coming in probably during the summer. I think Neil will see out the actual season, but whoever the man is, he's got to be looking at things now, because you want to sort out your transfer policy. If we go into the summer and then nothing's been sorted, and then there's in danger of another wasted year.
I just think it's a matter of if, not when, Leeds get in the Premiership. It's not that they're a Premier League club, and they've got to get up there sooner rather than later because of the parachute money next year. I mean, if you go down, you've got 59 million over 4 years, but they'll get there, definitely.
But no, just briefly, no manager who may come in looking at Leeds now is going to want to come in until this is sorted out.
No, you want to spend money. You want to spend money as a manager.
No, I disagree. Leeds United still, if that job's up for grabs, there won't be shortage of takers there. It's still a good job for people.
OK, well, we will see, and we'll see how long Neil Warnock lasts as well. Time now for some more action. The only other action